Please welcome Jordan Fairley.
That we're all better looking than them.
I'm tempted to do that, really am. I think I might shit myself if I improvise that.
No, you just improvised it.
Yo, can you hold my phone for me? What? Can you just hold on to that for me?
Yeah.
All right, how amazing was the first half of speakers, huh? That was awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming back. Quickly, can I get a show of hands? How many people have heard about the physical therapy AB1000 bill, which allows PTs direct access to patients? You guys don't seem too excited. If you don't know, this is a bill that was fought very hard by many of the chiropractic associations in California, sending email after email, Facebook updates, trying to get chiropractors to fight it, stating that it was bad for patients and bad for chiropractic. Either way, the bill passed, so now physical therapists in California can see patients directly without a referral for 45 days or 12 visits without a referral. And then if they feel like the patient needs more care after that, they must get a referral from an MD, a DO, a PA, or also a doctor of chiropractic. So I'm here tonight to state that I believe that the passing of this bill allowing PTs direct access is good for patients and could be great for chiropractic. And I want to start off by sharing my journey to chiropractic because I believe it'll help shed some light on the way I perceive the two professions and the way we can bridge the dichotomies between chiropractic and physical therapy. So from 2003 to 2011, all I wanted to do was be a physical therapist. Through sustaining multiple running injuries in high school and college, it was a physical therapist that helped me regain function, rehabilitate muscle deficiencies, and get me back on the track on the cross-country course. However, there are two very main events that happened in my life while I was working as a physical therapy aide that changed my perception of the professions and is the reason I'm standing here in front of you today. The first one happened in 2008. I was experiencing my best track and field season ever. I had just qualified for the NCAA championships, and going into the race, I had the 5th fastest time in the country. I started getting this deep shooting pain into my butt and down my hamstring, which was only present when I ran. So I went to a physical therapist, which I always did, and he basically prescribed rest, ice, ibuprofen, numerous stretches, and probably the stupidest thing of all, the inversion table, which basically just made my face turn into a giant red tomato. But the pain was still there when I ran. So in Los Angeles, California is by far the biggest race of my entire life. Probably a little bit nervous, doing too many of the stretches that were prescribed to me. But over the course of the first 2 laps, I put myself in really good position. I was feeling relaxed. I was coming around the 5th turn where 30 to 40 of my friends, teammates had driven down, chanting my name, chanting my school's name. I went over the water jump, and on the very next step, I fell to the inside of the track. My friends went from chanting to silence to gasps. I looked up, watching the runners pass by, and I just realized that my dreams of making it to the finals, possibly becoming an All-American, had completely just been erased. Over the course of the next month, my hamstring healed, but I still had this pain down in my hamstring. This is the first time I saw a chiropractor. And after 3 visits, the pain completely went away. And I got so mad. Why hadn't the PT or my athletic trainer referred me to a DC when it was that easy to get rid of the pain? Seriously. One of the most life-changing things that ever happened to me, though, was in 2011. My brother and I were driving up to Quincy, California, to meet my parents, who were already a day in on a backpacking trip. I had just done a race earlier that morning, and we're driving up this beautiful canyon, 300, 400-foot gorge into the river on our right, big ravine over onto our left. Get up to about 60, 65 miles per hour, my car starts shaking. then out of nowhere, my tire explodes. We veer off left into oncoming traffic. The next thing I know, we're flying off a 60-foot cliff. And all I can remember was that we were probably about to die. Thankfully, the first thing to hit was my head. So I don't have to remember my ribs breaking, my entire torso being torqued to the right, and then somehow having to walk out of this ravine. My next memory is laying next to my brother in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Subluxated head to toe. Over the course of the next few months, I completely lost connection of who I was. Became extremely depressed. My relationship with my girlfriend, my parents, my family suffered. And I felt extremely guilty for almost being responsible of my brother and I's death. But this is when I got under regular chiropractic care. And under the care of philosophically sound chiropractor, I started to get adjusted. The more I got adjusted and the more I healed, my mindset healed. As my fractures mended, my relationships mended. I went from a state of disconnection to connection, and from barely expressing life to full 100% expression of the person I was before my accident, and now with a newfound purpose. And during this time, I was working in PT offices, seeing patients who were getting better and expressing more health. But there was something unexplainably different that I was experiencing that I had never seen my patients in the PT office express before. Now, I tell you these stories because I know every single one of you, whether you know it right now or not, because I didn't know for a while, have had something in your life that made you pursue a career and a life of helping people rebuild their inner potential to live. There's no disputing the fact that rehabilitative services are beneficial to the patients. Scientific studies are starting to be produced showing the benefits of a chiropractic adjustment coupled with active rehab services or exercises. 2 studies in particular in 2011 were just published showing that for 5 to 7 days after a chiropractic adjustment, the mechanoreceptors in the multifidi of the lumbar spine are firing at a much higher rate. Therefore, a chiropractic adjustment coupled with active rehab exercises get patients better quicker. We must understand that we are not a cure-all for everyone. Understanding that active care gets patients better quicker, and understanding that PTs, for the most part, have the same views on health that we do. We have probably just been blessed with the greatest opportunity to work with to build an amazing referral system with like-minded individuals. So I ask every one of you tonight, whether you're a doctor or a soon-to-be doctor, seek out a PT in your town. Take them to lunch, maybe even hire one in your office. Ask them what it is they do, then define what it is you do as a chiropractor. I've seen the benefits of both. PTs helped me regain function, but chiropractic changed my life forever. I understand that some people might not want to do this. But one of the biggest problems in chiropractic is that patients don't know what to experience when going into one of our offices because we have muddied the waters so much by trying to provide everything under the sun, including PT modalities, which were never chiropractic in the first place. Chiropractic stems from a less is more philosophy. With the most specificity, the philosophy, and the greatest intent, chiropractors need not do more. I keep hearing so many people say that the passing of this bill is bad for chiropractic. I tell every single one of them, who cares, really? In chiropractic school, we learn how to do PT modalities and active care rehab, but not nearly to the same extent as a physical therapist. Physical therapists learn how to do chiropractic or spinal manipulations, grade 5 manipulations, but not nearly to the same extent as a specific chiropractic adjustment. I understand that this bill allows patients to get the type of care that they need while in an acute condition. But in order to remain a distinct profession, we must strip away the fluff, become the best addressers of cause and the best adjusters we possibly can. Because I didn't go to chiropractic school to be a physical therapist. I went to chiropractic school to help people regain health, take control of it, and start making better lifestyle choices. I went to chiropractic school to help people regain that inner potential to express their life so that, like me, they can take their torqued body and their torqued mindset and have the greatest potential to experience their life. Thank you.